Ooh, that's a it's a simple question, but it requires me to expand on a lot of things in order to answer it properly. So maybe let's just look at a little bit of a background of how did we get to know about the scholarship, or I mean the ITHUBA bursaries, and how did we sort of got to apply and all that. But again, before that, what was life about? So I come from a place in Bumalang. It's called Shialongubo Dam because it initially started because of the dam there, but now it's just Shialongubo, and we still have the dam anyway. That place is it's probably about 15 kilometers from the nearest high school, which is Louisville Combined School. That's where I went to. Now, there are so I actually grew up with my father as a guardian from like a very young age until when he passed on at the age of 15. And I never really had a mom. Like my biological mother was not really there because they separated early. Now the place it was so sort of destitute in a sense that we did not have so many resources. There was no electricity at the time. There was no cell phone network. There was no road to school, so there's just a gravel road. And because it's a mountainous area, we had no transport, especially when it's raining. The school bus could not be available, so we had to walk to school. Now, so for a period of about since the young age until I was matriculating, that was just my life. And my dad was unemployed, so he lost his job. I think around probably maybe early 2000. Then he was unemployed, so we used to survive on his piece jobs that he was doing, like cutting woods, because he had a chainsaw, so he would cut woods for the community and they would pay him some money. And also he bought cows with his retirement. So with his payout from the company when he was retrenched. So that was kind of a family business in a way. You will sell one cow and you will have to survive the whole year with that amount. But for me, I've always loved schooling. Like I'm just about education from a very early age. And my dad was not an educated person, but he wanted me to be one. So he would wake me up in the morning, 5 o'clock, to bath and then catch a bus to school and all that. So he was very supportive in that regard. But then when I was doing grade 12, I think it was around June or so, after getting results, our school principal was doing so he was going around looking for funding so that we can apply, and then if we get university entrances or college entrances, we can be funded. At the time, things were not like they are now. NSFAS, for an example, wasn't really that sort of, they were not really paying much of the school fees for students at the time. So in order for someone from a very poor family to study, you needed a bursary, otherwise you were not going to make it. So he sort of found information about the scholarship, at a time, and then we applied. All of us, we sort of applied, and then we were when we got results in December, we went to Nelspruit at the time, and I must mention that I was the way I speak to you now. At that time, it would have been unheard of. Like I was not always like this. At the time, I was a tiny boy from the village, scared of everything, and like I was I was just different. Let's put it like that. So we went there to attend interviews. It was three of us because in the 2010 group, two of us passed with the bachelor's, and the one lady who had passed the previous year, she was also put bundled together with us. Then we went to Nelspruit for the same interviews. Out of the three from my school, I was actually the only one who was selected to go and study. Initially, I had been accepted to study Bachelor of Education at University of Limpopo. But then after getting the letter of funding from ITHUBA bursaries, I went there, and then I found that because I was good in maths, and then I found that there was space in School of Mathematics and Computer Science. So when I looked at their program, it was just all about maths. The only thing that was different was computer science. And remember, at the time, we did not really have computer resources at school. So I don't even know how to switch on a computer. So we now I registered for computer science, and they went through all these programs of learning how the university works and stuff like that. But what was intriguing for me is the fact that university sort of introduces you to different people from different backgrounds, and you get to learn and view life in a different way. That's why I always like I really want students to get to an environment where they are together as students, and then they can learn from each other. Because when I go to University of Limpopo, remember I'm from a place that is sort of excluded from the rest of South Africa. We don't even have a TV. We don't even have a cell phone. Now I am in an environment where there are people from different backgrounds who are teaching me about things. I even learn different languages at university. And of course, you sort of also build a network of people, because even at this point now, the people that I call my network, many of them are the people that I went to school with. Some are doing PhDs, some are, running their own companies, some are teachers, some are lecturers. So we build that kind of network at university. So that was a start. But then I think one of the important things to mention here is that if it wasn't me getting the bursary to go and study at University of Limpopo, I wouldn't have made it. That is a fact, because I needed like everything: accommodation, tuition, fees, food, everything. And the bursary covered all that. The only thing that I used to struggle with at the time was a transport, because from Nelspruit to Bulugwane, that's about, at a time, I don't know now, it was about 400 rand just one trip. So if you don't have money, or you don't have somebody to fund that trip for you, then you have a lot of problems. But even that, I remember there was a time where I actually conveyed these things to I think it was Mr. Mabuza, that I said, I'm struggling with the transport. So even when they want me to return, because we used to attend workshops in June, we will attend workshops to sort of review the results. How is it going? What is troubling us, and so on. So I didn't have time and money to return to Mpumalanga. So what then they did, they provided me some sort of special grant to fund the transport to go back home. And when I'm going back to university, they will also give me money to go back to university for transport. And I must mention that was not part of the bursary. It was something that the Mabuza family were doing out of the just trying to help me with the situation. And fast forward, I graduated in 2014, and I must say, after graduating, it was, I think, it's September when I graduated. I only stayed at home 2.5 months. And I wasn't really at home. I decided to stay at around Pulukwane because that's where there were opportunities. Then I got a learnership at ATTI to study. I mean to do some sort of study because it was MCSA, so it's Microsoft related technical stuff. Now we did that, I think, for about 2 months again, and then we were about to write the exams. I got recruited by a company called Teach South Africa. So what they do, they take science graduates, then they train them as teachers and place them in disadvantaged schools. And when I saw that this is what they were doing, I was excited. So finally, I got to give back to the community somewhere, somehow, even before my career really kickstart. I did that. So I was teaching maths and science in Lephalale for about 1.5 years. Well, let's just say 1 year, 2 months, around there. Now, after that, I realized that now I had to start my career in computer science, because that's what I did at University of Limpopo. So I did BSc in computer science and mathematics. So in short, I got to experience tertiary education, and I got to be introduced to the work environment. And then right now, I'm actually a computer scientist or a developer in the corporate world, and I'm providing solutions to companies across the globe, not only in South Africa. Now, if you look at where I started and where I ended, I mean, you can see the difference. So I'm not at a peak of my career right now. I am still going there, and I can see that the future is actually bright because I'm improving every day. Yeah, but what I decided to do, I decided not to leave my community as a graduate and a successful person. I actually have a house there that I built to stay around people, because what I realize is that people need a light. They need to see someone who have made it for them to believe that it's possible to make it. So for that reason, I decided to stick around with people. And in the immediate, because I have access to a lot of information online, I do cloud computing. So I am actually helping students right now to bridge the gap between being a student and coming to the work environment. That is how to secure job opportunities like internship programs, and how to handle interviews when you get sort of invited for an interview. So I'm doing that type of stuff right now, and I'm proud to say recently, there's a lady, I have not met her yet. I'm yet to meet her. She's studying in University of KZN. She got an internship program where I work now. And when she was invited for an interview, I took her through interview questions that are publicly available online, how to tackle them, how to conduct herself as a new sort of trainee in the IT environment. And so I took her through a lot of things, including when they invited her for background checks. I prepared her for that and explained to her what that was all about. And she got the job. So that is my first success, and I'm looking forward for more. So as I just mentioned now that I'm in the cloud computing space, we were never really directly affected by the COVID-19 because when it kicked in, a lot of companies had to move, even those that were still doing certain things manually, they had to move to technology, which meant a lot of pressure for us. I've been busy since last year when the COVID-19 started, and I'm actually under pressure on a daily basis. So but then the issue was the change now, because we are pretty much working from home full time at the moment. Nobody is at the office. So that type of change in the work environment, I've got reasons to believe that some of us psychologically, we just had a lot of issues to adapt with that. And also coming to the issue of overworking, because now I no longer have a fixed sort of timetable to work. I'll start working at 6 o'clock and stop working at 8, or because I'm at home anyway. But yeah, we are adjusting, and it's not only us and my colleagues and so on. No, it's just everyone across the board. I've heard people saying the same thing, that they adapting and adjusting to the new normal. It's a bit of a challenge to so many of us. Yes. So there is a, not to be too much philosophical here, but uh, there's a way in which I have sort of summarized how one can succeed, especially, I mean, as a young person. Someone can come up with a different summary, of course, but this is how I've summarized it. One, you need to be honest with yourself at all times. And if you are honest that me as Mxolisi Magagula, I come from this environment and I need to change it so that the future of those who are coming after me is different. It's no longer the same as how I found things. That is the first thing that will sort of assist you to succeed. Because let's be honest, you can be awarded the bursary, but if you don't take it upon yourself to be to push and work hard and appreciate the opportunities that you are given, in a year or two, we'll be back to the same point. So that's the first one. And then the second thing is to learn the art of consistency. It's crucial. Like, you need to understand, you can't be enthusiastic today and tomorrow you're bored and you don't want to do things. And that's what we see when we go to school. Like, you find that some days you are willing to go and study, some days you are not. That type of behavior, it doesn't end there. It will grow with you in the corporate sector or in your business or somewhere. It's the same principle: consistency, consistency, consistency. That's what you have to do. And finally, the last one, we must, I don't know how to sort of sum this one up, but it's about the willingness to always learn new things. Life is changing everywhere. It's worse in my field of work. Each and every day I spend, out of 8 hours, 6 hours of that time will be to gather new information, analyze it and apply those techniques to new technology. That's pretty much what my work is all about. So people should always be open to learn. And yeah, those three things summarize how one can actually succeed. It doesn't matter where you come from. I mean, I'm the example of that.